Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Welcome to Satsang. So Satsang, as always, is a place for discovery, for seeing and being, as we were saying last night, for becoming the living example of what you really are. And to me, that was always the most important thing. Am I living as this? And of course, that's a question that can never fully be answered. We can only ever be living as much as we can in any moment. It's what we actually are, rather than what we think we are. As long as we've got that bit sorted, then we'll be at peace. And really, the truth, my job is to tell you the truth. Everyone else will lie to you, not just me here, and your job is to investigate that truth clearly and deeply until it becomes as much a lived experience as you want it to be. And I'm assuming that you want it to be a lived experience because you're listening and watching. So the truth is that you are not a human being. It's not actually what you are. You're also appearing as this human being with a mind and a body. But you're also something much more profound than a human being. You're everywhere, all the time. There is nowhere that you're absent from. You're infinite and unlimited. And you are the source of all of this appearance, as well as your mind and body. There never was a time when you were not, and there never will be a time when you cease to be. You cannot be absent at all, anywhere, ever. And you cannot divide yourself into two or many or billions. And there really aren't an infinite number of forms. There's only you. And the more that we have come to first recognize that consciously in our mind, the more the desire inside will arise to live as that, to live consciously as that true being. There is only the one being. And when it's appearing as a cat, it's fine. When it's appearing as a rock, it's fine. When it's appearing as a blade of grass, it's a blade of grass. When it's appearing as a human being, it gets all kind of funky ideas about itself. So Satsang is that place where we can come to really question what we are. And if we discovered what we are, there's always room for discovering deeper, clearer seeing, more. Not more to go there, but more seeing, more seeing. And each time this seeing happens, it will become clearer. And each time it becomes clearer, there'll be a living as that, because a clear seeing you can never fully forget. And it changes your mind and body, gives them an upgrade. So we should be seeing, and then our mind and body being upgraded constantly. How do we actually achieve that? How do we do that? In any true path to truth, certainly in my own path, it becomes a mixture of the traditional pathways. In tradition, there are these three different ways of realizing the truth. There's the path of karma yoga, which is selfless service to others. It is not some weird form of sticking your legs behind your head like my first thought karma yoga was. And then there's bhakti yoga, which is devotion and love, and devotion to truth. And that is not devotion to any teacher or any teaching. It is devotion to truth. If we're devoted to a teacher or a teaching, then we're not really devoted to truth, because truth will appear in every single way it can. And then there's jnana yoga, which is the path of wisdom or knowledge. The direct knowing of what you are. Through discussions such as these, the question and answers and conversation, the wisdom unfolds. But in my experience, it wasn't any one of these. It became a beautiful melting into one pathway. There's times when devotion to truth would bring out an intense state of peace. And the immediate effect of that is the wisdom to begin to question. Immediately when you see what you are, you're going to be presented with what you're not, straight after. Because life will say, okay, do you want to live it, what you've just seen, do you want to live it here? When this situation arises, when this person's standing in front of you, when this thing seems to be absent, are you going to live it now? You know, life has given us all an opportunity. Sometimes whether we like it or not. So the devotion to truth is also going to bring you wisdom or jnana knowledge of what you are not. I was never that. I was never this human being only. I was never that. And as the devotion intensifies to a point where we begin to realize I can never fully know what I am. How could we possibly know? Then the wisdom intensifies too. I need to clearly understand what it means to be the real me. Am I going to continue to agree with my experience? Am I going to keep agreeing that I'm missing something or don't have enough of something or have too much of something? And more we'll seem to be living in these two worlds. There's what I've seen to be true and what I'm experiencing currently. This is where the wisdom comes in. Is this still true for me now, given what I've seen? You know, given what I've realized to be true about myself. So there is always this twofold thing going on in our lives, in our awakening. As we move through our pathway, on one hand we'll be seeing clearer. That devotion will be paying off to more and more experiences of truth, of understanding, insight, epiphanies, revelations, aha moments. And they don't have to be visible from the outside, by the way. Most of my most profound revelations, nobody would have ever known it was happening. You know, it was just inside. And then immediately life presents you with the seeming opposite, immediately. Because life is you, and life wants to help you fulfill this desire to live as this example of what is true. And it will become increasingly painful to not live as it, to feel limited, to feel small, to feel lacking in anything. And I'm not talking about your body. Your body will still have to go to the shop and buy food. Food isn't just going to magically appear because I'm infinite. But you won't have that feeling that you're lacking, and you'll experience never running out of anything. And then even the karma yoga will begin to happen spontaneously. Instead of as two human beings meet, normally there's one outcome from that meeting that benefits you, or there's another outcome that benefits the other person. And all this is in separation. And the karma yoga begins to unfold from the true place. What's the highest outcome that benefits all of these beings involved in this interaction? A third or higher option than most people consider. Selflessly holding that place where this highest option can open and manifest for all the beings that are involved in that interaction. So if you look at your life right now, you'll see that all of those are going on inside your life. There's situations that need resolving with people, things that need sorting out. There's epiphanies and aha revelations. And there must also be, for a while, the living, the experiencing of what you are not, what you used to think you were, the residue of your old way of perceiving yourself. And they'll be seamlessly happening because all these three aren't really three paths, they're just the same. Just the one. So if we can accept these challenges with a little bit of grace, that this is happening right now, experience of the opposite of what I've seen myself to be, where I seem to be lacking something, whether it's peace, understanding, love, acceptance, money, time, energy, compassion, whatever I seem to be lacking in this moment is happening because I'm being given this opportunity to deepen, to live more as that. It's becoming clear that I saw I was this, and then I'm not living from that place in this area of my life. If we look at everything as an opportunity to deepen, then the actual experience of the opposite will disappear. As soon as we've fully used it up, we've eaten it up completely. And truth reveals itself effortlessly when we're willing to be in that open questioning. So really our only work is to look at our life and say, where am I not living authentically? And do I want to live authentically as what I've seen to be true? Do I want to keep experiencing the results of believing I'm a finite, limited being, running out of things, where those things are tangible outside, like my car breaks down, or I run out of money, or I don't seem to have enough time to get where I need to be to get everything done in one day. Or I don't have enough energy, I'm exhausted all the time. Or intangible things, like I don't seem to have enough respect, I don't seem to be able to get enough approval, I certainly don't feel like I have enough love. And even our really spiritual problems that we save right till the end, I don't seem to have enough understanding, I don't seem to have enough stability as the self, I don't seem to have enough wisdom, I don't seem to have enough compassion for other beings, I don't seem to be quite like those beings I'm revering. Even those highest problems that we value right to the end because we're so committed to this pathway must simply come to be seen as a living example of the opposite so that we can turn it round. There isn't a single problem ever that will manifest for you that you cannot solve using this. Whatever is happening, I seem to need something. I seem to need more instruction. I seem to need more guidance. I seem to need more clarity. I seem to need more investigation. more understanding, more stability, more establishment in and as myself. I seem to need to live more authentically as this one being. On and on it goes. I seem to need to get rid of my mind, or stop trying to get rid of my mind, or whichever way it's playing. And I know I always make it sound too simple. Like, you can't really fix every problem you've got just with this one thing, but you can. Your mind doesn't like that idea at all. You know, one screwdriver to undo every problem. Where's the drama in that? You know, where's the up and down? Where's the catastrophe? But if you've had enough of that, you've had enough of that. If you want to live as the one, then you won't leave a single stone unturned in your life. What do I seem to need here? Really, 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 what is it I seem to need? And can that be true? Can I, the infinite being, actually need anything? Is there anything outside of me for me to need? Even peace, even clarity. Because if you believe that you need something still, you're going to have to keep experiencing not having it over and over and over again. And you can see from the nodding heads that we've all been there. Even the greatest problem of all that any human being could come across, I need to reach enlightenment. You know, even that problem, same screwdriver. Is it really true that I need even that? And an openness to accept, as we've been practicing with our inquiry, all the answers to that question, not just to stop at mind answers. You can tell what kind of experience you're going to have if you stop at the mind answer to that question. Of course you need, of course you need to, you know. Whichever answer you accept and stop at is going to be your experience. Really, really simple. Really simple. Too simple for our minds, but you can hear this. You can go beyond your mind. You're not your mind. Do I even need enlightenment, actually? Actually, even that. Is it really true that I'm not already there? I wasn't looking at you in particular. And accepting only an experiential, direct, knowing answer to that question, always. Mind answers and emotions and experiences will all continue. But even those answers to that question will become so much more delightful. And if you really get this, it will take all the time away from your seeking, and you will find immediately, and you will be being it in the experiential answer to that question. Not here, not just here, all of it. Deep, profound, stable peace that never leaves, ever. If it seems to leave, it's because we've gone back to only accepting our mind's answers to that question, or any question at all. What is it like when I stay open to all the answers to my problem that I seem to have? Do I really have this problem even? And I know it may seem like I'm just sitting here telling you don't actually have any problems, but that is what is true. And I have to tell you that, because you're probably not going to hear it in many places, are you, in the world? Mind will certainly tell you the opposite. You've got loads of problems. Loads, you know, especially spiritual ones, really bad spiritual ones that are really chronic, that I've been holding on to for years and years. But now is a good time to turn that around, isn't it? And if you miss it, now's another good time. And I'd really love for you to see how immediate the answer can be to this question. Do I really need anything ever at all? Inherently in satsang, when you're listening, when you're just listening and open, you'll be experiencing the answer to that question already. I don't need anything. There's a sense of that. I've never, ever needed anything. Not even enlightenment. You know, you can't come into a room like this and stay as a seeker if you're open. You'll be a finder immediately. And wherever you're watching this and listening, even if you're listening to the audio or watching this years from now, it's going to be the same. So seeing what you are, the devotion must be coupled with this wisdom that comes with it. I've had a revelation. How does this apply to my life? What does it mean to be infinite? What does it mean to be everywhere all the time? What is it really like to live from that place while I still have this body? Are any of my old issues still valid? Any of them? Or are they all hanging on this idea that I'm someone somewhere in time and space, moving through my life? Or that I am some being on a journey from body to body to body, evolving and becoming and becoming and becoming and finally reaching somewhere, but not actually ever arriving. Have you noticed that? Is even that problem true here? And satsang is the place to ask these questions about the problems that you seem to be having. Most of the problems will disappear as you see. Some of them will linger that need a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of application of what you've seen, what you've had revealed. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just because I've said you don't have any problems doesn't mean you won't seem to immediately. They're only there for the resolution and for the deepening of the seeing, for being able to turn that around into an ever greater unfolding of abundance of peace and joy and love and finances and time and energy and well-being and health and passion and excitement and all the good things. We have been experiencing as separate beings an abundance of not enoughness in all of its forms over and over again. And your life is a reflection of what you know yourself to be. So if your life is reflecting back to you there's some limitation or lack, it's simply to turn it round, to apply it. Because you're never ever going to feel better than when you're living authentically as this everywhere in your life. And there's a commitment to living as this as much as is possible. Even if you never achieve that, just the commitment will bring you infinite peace. Just the wish to be authentic is an openness that will make you feel quite amazing. Okay. If anyone does seem to have a problem, spiritual or otherwise, yeah, cool. That was almost the Mexican way. You might just need to move it back a tad.
And a lot of emotion come up through that.
It's not a good satsang unless somebody cries.
Yeah, it's been a while, to be honest. There was a situation last night that you know about, and that brought up a huge reaction. This is late on last night, and I felt, you know, you said it's to show you that you're still feeling what you're feeling, and I kind of got that. Everything's fine, and sitting listening, then I recognised that there's still a lot of emotion in there that I didn't even realise. It's about not being good enough, and it's obviously still there because I've just sat and cried through that. And I've had reactions to things, and then when I remember, or it's said to me to see it as something to look at, and that it's to help you open more, do that and get that. And there was a huge opening last night after it. My question is, can I preempt it? Can I stop it from happening by looking at it before? Because I feel that I do, on the whole, live in peace.
And you'd rather not be disturbed by these occasional hiccups that you didn't see coming.
Because, like you said, they feel very painful. They're very short-lived, but they're very painful.
Mm-hmm.
And how I don't always know they're there, because I think, oh, I've worked through that. I'm not saying that I think I'm there. There's always more. But in this particular thing, been a lot of work done on it. And how can you find if there's still something in there that needs work?
Literally just to ask.
Okay.
You can ask inside. Really good question. Is there something that I need to see? Is there something that I'm not looking at?
Yeah.
But also, even more practically, you know, take stock of your life and notice which areas flow effortlessly and easily, and you're just watching it all happen, you know, and everything unfolds effortlessly and surprises and delights you. And then notice there's certain areas where that doesn't always happen, and it must be that there's something there being still believed.
As you're saying that, it felt like everything was an effort, and I know that's not true. I know that everything's been so much easier for a long time now. It's obviously stuff to look at.
The core of it all, I'd suggest asking that, leaving from that question, you know, really where am I not seeing truly, and also where am I not being truly. Look at you can probably, and you don't need to say it now, but areas of your life where you go, right, I can see even from looking. And then to even look at the root of it all is that you seem to need something. So in that example from last night, you seem to need more worthiness. You seem to need more enlightenment. You seem to need more stability. You seem to need to be more awake in this area. Can that be true? Are we going to keep believing it just because it's happening to us? Because that's an endless cycle, isn't it?
Can I ask then that sometimes that an issue will be seen, and I just know that that isn't real, that isn't true, and that's nothing to do. So is there sometimes a case, I think you've said this before, that there is seemingly some work to do,
somewhere else to get.
Not,
it's a case of not having arrived already, not already being the one in that area, where I still feel. And of course, you know, for me, there were several areas. Finances were one, because there seemed to be a problem. There seemed to be some more work to do, and it didn't ultimately stop until I really recognized I am already that. Any seeming imagination that are further to go spiritually or deeper to go spiritually, in the end will seem to create a problem out there that I need to work on. And there's no getting out of that, because the more harder you work, the more there seems to be a problem.
I'm a bit confused now. The area in particular, where I feel, obviously still feel as I'm not good enough, I'm not doing it well enough, whatever. I feel that I've looked at it and that, not that I thought, oh, I am good enough, it's just that it's just happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then, well, actually, look what's happened.
Yeah. So are you going to buy that you made a mistake? If you're the effortless being that's doing nothing, is there a slight tinge of a vibration that you need to see clearer, that you're not doing anything?
Yeah.
That I need to see clearer. So you're so powerful that you will immediately create something else you need to see.
Yeah.
Just like that.
I'll stop doing that. Okay. Yeah, thanks. That helps.
So anything at all, we can say, what do I seem to need? And of course, the very sneaky things of this, I need to be more established as the self. I need to be being myself more, as if that's such a thing that's even possible. All the really sneaky little problems that seem important but actually are a figment of our imagination. How can you not be yourself? How can you not be the self? Even everyone that's not even realized that they aren't just a human being are still being the self, aren't they? They just don't know it. They're always being authentically this, whatever this thinks itself to be.
So the fact that I'm thinking I'm not doing it well enough is showing, I'm then being shown that because
because there's something you're not doing well, seemingly out there. And you have to detach yourself in the end. The mind and body will be on this constant unfolding of more, greater expansion and manifestation. More and more peace, more and more love, more and more time, more and more freedom, more and more, all of it. And you have to detach yourself from that, because that's just happening in front of you. You need to arrive and stay there.
Right, okay.
Let the mind and body travel, because they work in time and space. But you establish yourself firmly. No, I don't need anything. I don't want anything.
Right, okay.
And that way, then everything that your mind and body needs will come effortlessly.
Okay.
Even if it's clarity, even if it's wisdom, even if it's insight, even if it's peace, even if it's enlightenment.
Right, okay. Okay.
So don't find yourself worthy. You just end up in a place where it was never an issue.
Okay.
Where you never needed anything.
Yeah, I was just shocked at how much emotion came up, and I thought,
there was a lot, when I realized this, there was a lot of emotion for me, because I realized, it's amusing now, but it wasn't at the time, and I've been creating all my own issues endlessly, and then trying to solve them. I've been creating problems out of thin air, and then trying to solve them.
Why did we do that?
And there was so much frustration that built up inside me, and I was so angry at myself that I couldn't get this enlightenment thing to work. And I saw, oh my God, I just literally flip it round.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of emotion release, a lot of pent-up desire, unfulfilled desire, feeling that I wasn't good enough because I couldn't somehow be at peace all the time. When that, even then blaming myself that I couldn't be a living example of it.
You've been in my head.
I'm in your head. But you see what I mean? There was all this pent-up emotion from trying, and then trying not to try, and then trying to just be, and then trying to do nothing, and all that stuff that we do before we just end up ourselves.
So it's just like releasing it and
we've been trying so hard to fix these problems that we're sure are real, and never quite succeeding, because we're creating them by thinking, So of course we're going to feel unworthy. If we can never get to the end of these problems that we're sure we can fix somehow,
Yeah.
how can you not feel unworthy from that?
It was
And
fun.
you look at these great beings that are sitting there in this infinite peace and you go, I'm doing something wrong here, you know.
I think after it happened and we spoke, I recognised that I hadn't made a mistake, and and that it was just there, and that everything. There was a bit of emotion, but it didn't seem to release.
Yeah.
There was a lot of.
Maybe it's coming out now.
Yeah, definitely. That's what it feels like. Yeah.
There might be some more that comes out because we've all had a long time of trying to fix our problems that seem to be so very real.
Yeah.
And then this most important problem, when we hear about awakening, this is the one we really have to fix and solve. And we put everything into it for such a long time, which is how it needs to be until we realise the truth, I guess. But
yeah. It was the recognition of how unworthy and how incomplete I'd felt. That's what the tears were for.
yeah,
It was the trigger was what happened last night, but it's all the same thing, isn't it? It's all not being good enough.
Yeah.
At everything.
It inspires a great compassion for every other living being because they're stuck trying to fix these problems and they can never get to the end of them until they're lucky enough to come out of it. But it's its own illusion, is its own self-contained thing because we keep trying to fix these problems, which keeps creating them. By imagining we're not already the perfect one.
Yeah.
It just goes on and on and on. And right towards the end, as we're moving from an egoic perspective into living as the one, these problems become ever finer, ever more sneaky, ever more subtle.
But very painful.
Yeah, because so much you love being the one and you want to feel how it feels to be undivided. The moment a division comes up. The good thing about that, though, is you can't live with it. You have to solve it. You have to resolve it.
That's why I handle it like that. Yeah. I'm not going to sit in the emotional state that I was. I want the answer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The clearer you see it, I've never had a problem. It washes away the memory of problems as well. It all gets washed away in this seeing and cleansed out of your being. To the more and more I've just always been this. I've been using my imagination against myself without realizing. Then it leaves you with this clarity and it's okay. Insight and this sense that it's never been other than it is.
He's laughing, I'm sobbing.
Very good question. Anyone else? Yep. Rich. Really good questions. Really good. No pressure. What seems to be the problem?
Okay, seems exactly. Just the scene.
Having said that, it feels very, very
It
real.
does feel very real. And I've had a repeating pattern that's been going on for years. And it don't matter how much I've investigated it, it still seems to repeat, which tells me that I'm not getting the lesson.
Something else
I'm
too,
missing something. So essentially, I'm a lightning rod for other people's insecurities. Not everyone's, it's just certain people. It tends to be bullies. I feel like they recognise my power, but they recognise also that I won't show it.
That you won't show it.
That I won't show it.
Right.
So I always end up in situations where people are quite passive aggressive, and I feel helpless to show my power, and then that leaves me with a lot of anger and frustration, and it just seems to be
because you're allowing others to treat you in a way that you would not like them to treat you.
Yeah, I can tell it's totally wrong, and it seems very back to them. It seems odd because it also seems like they're scared and I'm powerful, but I'm the one being bullied, and it just confuses me. And I also recognise that they're just a reflection of me. Yeah,
which makes the whole thing worse because you realise it's going on inside.
So I must be a bully at some level. So I've just tied myself in knots with it, really, but the pattern continues. No matter how much I investigate, the pattern continues.
It's not that you're a bully. But how are they actually treating you? With a lack of respect?
Yes.
A lack of
It's like
what words would you use to describe?
Okay.
Excuse me. Treating you.
So it's like this is the parapet. I don't know. As soon as I show myself, show my power, show my strength, show anything, they immediately go bang and try and smack me back down. Rather than being inspired.
So there's a sense of being limited by these other beings.
Yes.
Limited.
They want to limit me.
So as soon as you are authentically you,
yes,
you immediately experience the opposite.
Yes, it seems to bring out negativity in people as soon as I'm authentic. So
let's apply what we've been talking about today in this situation. What do you seem to need from this situation? And take your time and let's really look at it.
Peace in somewhere, because I know that I'm always drawn towards not just being in nature, but being in wilderness, on top of mountains, really empty places, because there I can be myself and there's no judgment in nature. So
what I'm hearing from you is you seem to need more authenticity.
Yes, yeah. That's what I crave it. I really crave it. It's all there. It's all there. But I hide myself. I learned it as a small child. My brother and my sister, I think, were a bit jealous.
It's not safe to be me.
Yes,
who I am is unacceptable to the world. It is what we learn. Very,
I think.
I wasn't agreeing with you there. Sorry, I was just.
Okay. I think I intimidate people not by being strong, like throwing my weight around, but by being.
Authenticity is intimidating, actually, to a lot of people if they're not wanting to be authentic in themselves.
That's what I see, and I see that. I love authentic people. I love comedians. I love speakers who people go, oh, you can't say that. Yeah, you can, because it's true. I love those people, and they're who I am, except I'm scared to show it.
So authenticity is one thing we've decided that you seem to need. Yeah. Is there anything else in this that you seem to need? There might not be, but it's worth looking while we're here and undoing acceptance.
Acceptance of just me being me.
Very good. Respect, I think, was another word we used, was it?
I think so, yeah. Not a respect as in looking up to, just respecting as an equal, as a human, in the same way that for me, a good person respects a beggar as much as a president, because I don't understand why you wouldn't, but a lot of people don't. They turn their nose, put the beggar, and they fawn to the president.
So you we've said authenticity, respect, and acceptance, 3 things, which is fair to say the whole human race is looking for those mostly. So as the infinite one, can it really be true that you need those? Can it really be true? Even logically, we can solve this one for now.
I must already be those, and as the one, I don't need anything.
So
I'm just a witness.
As the formless one, you are all things in potential. They haven't actually showed up yet. What, in this manifestation, is that it goes from potential to actual, or appearance of actual manifestation. So what is going to show up for you in each moment is shaped by you, by what you are still agreeing that you need or want. So if you're still agreeing inside that you need more authenticity, more respect, and more acceptance, then you're going to be looking from others out there. If instead you can hold this from the place that I know it can't be true that I need that, I'm going to allow that to arise from inside out instead of trying to get it outside in. If I can't get it for myself first, I'm never going to be satisfied, even if others are giving it to me, because that's a fragile thing. If I don't like myself and all of you here like me, I'm still going to feel insecure, because at any point you could all vanish, decide you don't like me, and I'd be left right where I was. You must come to get that here first. So it's the same thing for you with authenticity. Is it really true that you actually need to be more authentic? it seems to be. And if we keep letting this experience dictate what you're going to feel that you need, then it'll go on and on.
Thinking about it, if I'm totally authentic when I'm totally alone, like on top of a mountain, then surely I have already got that authenticity.
Say that again, sorry.
If when I'm totally alone and I'm unwatched on top of a mountain and there's no one else around, I'm completely authentic then.
Mm-hmm.
So that says to me I already have that authenticity.
There's times when you are being authentic,
Yeah.
and then there's times when you believe this thought that you need more authenticity, and immediately
I
it
need
shows
my
up out there.
authenticity accepting.
Yeah, it shows up out there, doesn't it, immediately? So could it just be a gradual shift over to seeing that these people are treating me this way because they are me, and they have to reflect back to me what I think I need. It has to be that way. Why? Because you are everywhere all the time. You have no choice but to act that way around you if inside you are still deciding that you need more respect and whatever comes with that. It's a hard one to get your head around, but when you turn the causality loop this way,
I'm in the process of doing that. I've managed it with certain things. Like as soon as I recognise a want for something, immediately I relax now because I know it's coming.
So this is just the same. I want more respect. They're fine, subtle things, aren't they? It's not like money or I need a new car because mine's broken down. But it's still the same thing going on inside. So what is it like to live from that place where I don't want or need anything? And I'll notice my experience showing me where I have a tendency to not live from that place. And let me see what happens to myself. Immediately I feel the authenticity. Immediately. And that is going to have to mirror out there with everyone that you meet. Anyone who's not willing to mirror that will have to leave your experience. Or they'll just be in a really good mood when they're around you for some reason. Right? Because it's the first time you might meet that person now and you're not needing anything from them. You're not subtly with your energy going, please, please like me. You might not like me. I'm not sure if you like me. Is it safe to be me? That's what we're all doing. And then wondering why people aren't giving us what we need because they're doing the same thing. That other person is saying the same thing. Why? Because they are you. They're desperately craving respect and everything that you've identified that you feel you need still. And it's an endless loop, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Spinning out infinitely.
It's never ending. Like I say, it's something I identified maybe 5 years ago, and if I can't get on top of it in 5 years, then I'm not going to get on top of it.
Let's get on top of it right now. I'm going to live from that place where I don't need anything. I'm going to be what I seem to need. I'm going to allow that to come from potential to actual. And then beings around me in my vicinity will have to mirror that back also. They won't need anything from anyone ever while they're around me. And then hopefully it might inspire them to also find that inside. Did you see?
Yeah, they're like me. Well, they are me. They're my reflection.
Helping yourself
mirror.
then becomes this karma yoga, selfless service to every being that comes into your vicinity then, because you're not asking anything of them at all. And they're safe to be themselves as well.
I have two types of relationship. One, that relatively negative one I talked about, and then I have other relationships where I feel totally secure around those people. Say my son, for example, and also all I want to do is love him and support him. And that's so easy, and it's full of respect and authenticity.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that is the natural state. That is what it's like when you don't need or want anything. You know, mind or ego says, well, when these people start treating me better, then I'll feel that I've got somewhere, that I'm somebody who deserves respect then. But it can never, ever, ever happen that way, ever. It's got to come from the inside out. Can I really, even though I seem to, even though I keep experiencing it, even though it's happening right now, in this moment, this person stood in front of me, am I really going to keep going around this loop? I know the answer is no. You know, it's just, where am I going to live from right now in this moment? What is it like to experience this same situation from a place of not wanting or needing anything? you know, from that place of just being authentic. Recognizing that all these experiences that I've had of it not being safe to be me have been a lived experience of that belief over and over and over. In that if you are everything all the time, how can it possibly not be safe to be you? And that will then mirror into the mind and body, and that'll be a very lived, visceral experience.
Yeah. Okay.
You put you back in the driving seat.
Yeah, I'm going to listen to that a few times.
Yeah, and you get to also simultaneously help everyone. That highest outcome for everyone happens in you putting yourself first, which is also the self. Really simply, any problem we have that involves other beings can't ultimately be true, but we've been trying to solve it the wrong way.
Right, yeah, makes a lot of sense.
It must come from you first. And I know it's a cliche to love yourself and respect yourself, but this is really what it means to be authentic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do I really, as what I've seen, this beautiful silence, this pristine awareness, consciousness, what does it need? Does it even need to be more awake or conscious or any of it?
It's already got it all.
Yeah. But then we immediately say, yeah, but I need, you know, so it's just closing that gap, isn't it? In these subtle areas where we've been living as someone still.
Yeah. So I've started to do it in the physical stuff. So yeah, it's just moving that over to non-physical things.
Yeah, and even about peace and enlightenment itself, you know. Because you could sit here and go, well, there seems to be a difference between me and you, right? There seems to be more peace here and less peace there. What do we seem to need? You see what I mean? More clarity, more questions, more answers, more satsang, more. I'm going to put myself out of a job here, aren't I? Can you see? All the problems can just fall apart with this seeing. Whatever I seem to need, I'm going to keep experiencing.
Yeah, it's like a horizon in the reach.
The moment you feel any suffering at all, what do I think I need right now? And it might be a really subtle thing like more clarity or more, you know, more wisdom or more epiphanies or something. Even that, though, you can't even need that as the one. They're just happening inside you, and they'll come.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. And to recognize, just quickly, there are lots of beings that already respect you. A lot of them in this room, you know. The focus always goes on to where it's not working still, which it has to for a while. But I'm excited to see what comes out of that.
Okay.
Good, very
Thanks
good.
a lot.
Anyone else like to?
No.
Yep. Just.
Hi, Helen.
I've just done it. Thanks. Thank you very much.
I've understood that I need to let everything go, and I am just here, which is good. But actually putting it into practice is completely different. So, as I relaxed and understood what everything is, and I thought I'll understand this, then it seems to have gone backwards a little bit. So nothing's happening. So whereas I thought that's wonderful, I understood everything, I'll just relax and take it forward and do it and just be in it and understand it's there.
Excuse me.
Well, I've done that, and I'm not moving forward. In fact, the mind's come back in a little bit more.
Sneaky into it.
It's sneaked in, and I'm not getting into the silence as much. And I'm thinking, right, well, just stay with it, because this is what happens. So I'll just stay with this and just be, and I'll question everything and look at reality and think, is this real? And this, but I'm doing that, and it's just not moving forward. In fact, it feels like it's sort of slipping through my fingers a bit.
So what do you mean by moving forward? Just explain to me what you mean by it's not moving forward.
So as I understood what it was about, so I sort of got an
A
understanding
deep seeing.
of what it was about.
Yeah.
Then I thought that's how I need to stop doing. So I stopped in effect doing and trying. And as I've stopped doing and trying, it's not that nothing's happening. It's that I seem to, the mind seems to be coming back in, and I have less peace. So I'm not having any deeper seeing or anything really. It just seems to have sort of curtailed and gone back to a bit more in the mind rather than where I was before. Does that make sense?
So what would be the resolution to this? What would have to happen for you to feel that you've sorted this out? Strange thing to ask, I know.
No. So for me to go back, so when I relax and stop doing, for the mind to be quieter, to calm itself back down, really, I think it feels just like as I've stopped doing it, it stopped happening.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you notice the silence, you got a deep understanding of the silence, a deep experience of the silence, and mind was also silent. So now there's this opportunity to experience and find the silence even when the mind is talking. Right? Because it's one thing to sit here and just go, in satsang and feel deep and profound silence. But if we're going to seem to lose it every time we walk out the door, or every time mind starts doing its thing, then there's a deeper seeing that can happen, isn't there?
That is where I'm at. I feel that I can't actually get there when I'm not doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how do you know that your mind is talking? Strange question. How do you know?
I've just had this all the way here this morning.
It's like I'm in your head, isn't it?
So,
with what faculty do you recognize the noisy mind?
I've tried to discover this. I've tried to find out where it's coming from, and it doesn't actually come from anywhere. It just sort of appears.
Right. The mind, you mean?
Yeah, the thoughts.
And how do you know that? How can you tell me that? It's undeniable that there's a noisy mind chattering away, doing its thing. You've lost a piece. It's gone. You know. With what faculty are you seeing that?
Thought. I'm thinking it.
Can you see thoughts with thoughts?
No.
If thoughts are appearing in front of you, where are you looking from at those thoughts?
I'm looking from my being.
From your being, yeah?
Yeah.
So the being that you're looking from, is that noisy?
No.
So that's good. So could it be then that when you first discovered this silent being that you are, all attention was on that, and it was beautiful and it was quiet and everything was wonderful.
Yeah.
And then attention goes back, mind starts talking again, attention goes back to mind and says, if we only take where the attention has gone as evidence, if we're only looking at mind, then we're going to feel like we've lost that peace, that silence. It's really going to seem real, because mind was quiet and now it's talking again. But if we can bring our attention before that and recognize where we're looking from, even when mind is talking, that we can see the noisy mind, and then we can also see the attention has moved.
I've always had a slight problem with being able to do that.
Okay, that's fine. That's good.
Yes.
I mean, it's not good. It's good that you told me that.
Yeah.
Tell me what I remember.
Yes.
So, if you can recognize that the issue here is because attention has gone back to phenomena of thoughts.
Yeah.
And it's zoomed right in to look at one particular thing again.
Yeah.
And when attention is open and just noticing that silence, then even the noisy mind can appear inside it and it won't impact.
Right.
Yeah. So in practice, the best way to actually apply that is to ask a question.
Right.
You know me, I'm always giving out questions to contemplate.
I love questions.
And I know before I even say this, you're going to email me afterwards and ask me what the question is.
I always do that every time. I do it every time.
It's great. I love
what did you say? Yeah, that was a question.
Last time you even told me before you left, I'm going to forget this. I know. Yeah. It's fine. We all do it because mind doesn't really want you to remember, you know. So we're all the same, aren't we? So the question is, you seem to have lost peace. You seem to be going backwards. So you seem to need more peace, more Well, you tell me, what do you seem to need here? Like we just did with the previous question.
More clarity. I think.
Clarity, yeah? Anything else?
Um,
Might not be, but just for the sake of fixing all this in one go. Well,
more peace, but more clarity, more. I won't say ability because that's trying. The ability.
but that could come to the mind, can't it? We're not,
the
discounting.
ability to be able to relax and not try and not lose it. So as you relax into it and see everything, not lose the ability to stay there.
So you seem to need to relax.
Yeah.
You seem to need to be able to stay there.
Yeah.
You seem to be able to. You seem to need, to stop trying.
Yeah.
Or you seem to need to just be.
When I'm not trying, I obviously must be trying, even though I think I'm not trying as I'm sat here thinking.
That's the most intelligent thing to recognize, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Even up here, when I'm not trying, something is trying.
Yeah.
If you can see that, wow, you're about to come out of it. That's exciting.
Yeah.
So then, the question: is it really true that I need these things? Right. Our experience in that moment will definitely agree that yes, it's very true.
Yeah.
But if we keep agreeing with that, guess what's going to happen?
Yeah.
More of the same.
Yeah.
So is it really true? Even though I'm experiencing it right now, even though I'm experiencing it right now in this moment, is it really true? See, to even ask that question is going to cause a most amazing thing to happen, because most of us as human beings, experience is our holy grail, isn't it? If I'm experiencing it, it must be true.
Yeah.
Must be. But recognizing that there's something underneath that's still trying, even if it's trying not to try.
I think it is.
Or trying to be effortless.
I must be trying not to try. I'm trying to be effortless and not try, aren't I? I think it must be it.
We're driving our life, and then was it Adishanti said at some point we put it in reverse and we try to drive backwards, thinking that we'll be just being, you know. And then every now and again we pass a car and there's no driver, there's just somebody in the passenger seat, like, you know. So if you recognize that there's something underneath that's still trying to get somewhere, still believing in need and want, then you can come out of it by asking this question. I'm not going to allow my experience to dictate what happens in the next moment.
Right.
I'm going to allow what I know to be true.
I will email you on that one. You're doing all that time.
So, absolutely. So, is it really true that I need anything in this moment? Is a general catch-all?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
We obviously singled out in the previous question respect and acceptance. But if you want to clear it all up now, is it really true that I need anything at all?
Yeah.
Right? And as we've done with the self-inquiry contemplation, allowing all the answers to mind will say, oh my God, of course you need, look at this, you know, look at how you're feeling right now. Of course you need more peace. So it'll have its very strong opinions. Thank you very much, mind. Is there any other answers to that question? Do I really need anything in this moment?
Yeah.
So we could do this right now if you want.
Right.
Yeah. We'll put you right on the spot.
Yeah.
But this is really good because this will help everyone, you know.
Right.
It's like a general.
So do I really need anything in this moment?
And there might be a lot of just accepting any answer that comes. So you tell me what happens now when you ask that question. And if you ask that question, even when you seem to need, then you can come out of it. Even when you're experiencing disturbance. So what happens when is it really true that I need anything, even peace?
I haven't got anything. That feels wonderful.
So the more open you are, the more you go straight to the non-phenomenal answer, silence.
Yeah. Yes, that's
and
excellent.
If mind started thinking now, when your attention is on the experiential answer, what would happen? Would it upset you?
No.
There's thoughts appearing.
I'm fine.
So when we seem to need more peace, or we seem to have lost, or we seem to be going backwards, it's our attention has gone only to the phenomenal answers. If we ask the question, do I really even need peace? Of course, mind's going to say yes. If we agree with it, guess what happens the next moment? If instead we go, what other answers are there to this question? We're immediately, or very, very quickly, the more you practice this, into that silent, absolute, unknowing field of nothingness that is you.
It's very good now. Yeah.
What problem can upset you here? Here, you don't even need to remember the question, which is a good thing.
Well, just as well because you know I won't.
Yeah. That's exactly. I had to write it on my. I used to stick it on post-it notes around the house. Is it really true? You know, inside the fridge, is it really true? Put it in my slippers, post-it notes in my slippers. So when I put my everywhere that I knew I would go, stuck it in my car. You know, used to text it to myself because, you know, and hopefully you can see that it's the nature of something is working against you remembering this question. Something wants to remember.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
So it's only a shift of focus. It's only a, do I really need anything? That's going to dictate your next experience, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
And this can become there isn't a word in any language that I've found, a constant experience, an alwaysness. There isn't a constant experience, but for the sake of trying to explain, become a constant experience when you're living as the experiential answer to that question. What do I really need?
Yeah.
Or do I really need anything?
And I think that was it. I wasn't experiencing it.
It'd gone back up here.
It had come up here.
Yeah.
I knew that.
And it will do that for a while.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong when that happens. It's just a chance to flex this muscle a bit more and practice your contemplation a bit more.
Yeah.
And open up. And you'll fall in love with, oh my God, I've gone upstairs again.
Yeah.
Is that really true? Oh, gone. All the way it's gone.
Yeah.
Just like that.
It's a good cover-all question.
It's great. That's why I'm telling everyone, just, you know, because it's...
But that had happened. I just couldn't quite pinpoint where it happened. It's obvious when you tell me.
Every time you do this, it's obvious and then it's not obvious. So every time you do this, you're going to remember this quicker.
Yeah.
Every time attention goes back up to thoughts and then the resulting feelings that come from those thoughts, and we feel like we're suffering again.
Yeah.
Something inside will go, nah, I'm not doing that again. And it'll just opt out of it. Is that really true? Or even before you form that question, you'll just be back into the experiential answer that's always there. Because that's always there, isn't it? Available.
I've just lost the ability to find it for a little bit. I think that
we are naturally, we are this great giant football stadium, and our attention goes to this one person, the only one person in one chair, right across the other side of the stadium that's going, you've lost it, you're never going to find it, you're not good enough at this, you know. And we are this giant, huge thing, emptiness.
Yeah.
And our attention goes to the one little voice talking in the middle of it.
Yeah.
That's all, isn't it? That voice could be talking, but if your attention is just open, not focusing on any particular thing, there's just an ingrained habit we have as human beings to focus on things till we realize it feels much nicer to focus on nothing, which sounds like an oxymoron.
As I actually said it, I heard myself saying it when I bowed down to what was kind of knew the answer myself already. Yeah. But as soon as you told me, it was there.
I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Yeah. No. I mean, I'm going to put myself off a job.
That's wonderful.
So it's just a chance, you know, and instead of, oh my God, something's gone wrong, which I used to do, it's just a chance to deepen your conviction that this answer is always available.
Yeah.
And when you're sure that it's always available, it'll stop happening, that experience will stop happening. Like, I've practiced that so many times. I absolutely cannot believe the idea that I need anything, ever.
Yeah.
So those phenomenal answers to that question don't even come now.
Yes.
You know, I'm sure they'd be there if I really looked for them. I could create them, but why would you?
I don't think I'll be going looking for them.
No.
No, that's not.
And attention just naturally goes straight back and then eventually stays in that non-phenomenal silence. You know, what do I really need right now? Silence. Well, nothing. You know, nothing that you need. That's the ultimate answer, isn't it?
It is.
Absolute absence of any answers to that question.
Yeah.
In that space.
And that's what I just did.
Yeah.
But I asked the question I hadn't asked. Didn't have the right question to ask.
Yeah, and you know, you're driving along and mind starts talking and you begin to suffer. You're big. Is that really true? And it's gone. Just like that. And then is. And then as you practice.
Yeah.
And then just nothing at all.
I will actually remember that question. I think I might remember that one.
It's a good one to remember.
Yeah, you do, and I'll say.
We should have it tattooed on the inside of our eyelids,
Mhm,
right?
yeah.
You know, is that really true?
True.
And it fixes everything. It's great.
Yeah.
It solves every problem.
It's wonderful.
Very good question.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
We've got time for one more if anyone wants to ask.
I'd like to ask one if nobody else wants to ask.
Yeah.
Is that all right, honey? So everything's great, really good, no problems, apart from one I'm having right now. Right now. So that involves my body and pain.
Mm-hmm.
So while you were doing that exercise with Phil, I was saying to myself, if there's a problem, well, right now, what do I need? I need 2 tablets, and I can't get that out of my head.
Right. So what are you asking? Sorry.
Well, it's the feeling of tiredness that I emailed you about since I've been on this journey now. It's a real... I don't really know what I'm asking now.
So there's a tiredness.
Tiredness and pain.
Mm-hmm.
It's the body pain and tiredness. And funnily enough, at home the other day, I did sit with it.
Yeah.
And I managed to make it all go.
How did you do that?
Well, I focused on it and thought, what is this?
You did the curiosity that we've talked
is
about.
it really there?
Yeah.
And slowly it just all went. But that was 2 days ago. I can't really do it at the moment.
Okay.
So it's just a bit of help with that, really. That's if I look at problems, that's the only problem I've got.
So, is it actually the tiredness and the pain that's affecting you? Is that really the problem? Or is it that you think they're affecting you still somewhere inside? It's really important.
It's getting me focus, isn't it? It's grabbing me focus.
There's a feeling, I'm tired, or I'm in pain, which is really how it seems to be at first. So if we can really zoom in on what the actual issue is, because as you said, let's say you take some painkillers, pain will still be there, but it's not affecting me anymore. That's so pain. It cannot be the pain itself. We've all somehow accidentally fallen asleep at night time, even when there's pain. So again, it cannot be the tiredness or the pain. Because if you were really exhausted, if you were just sat in, I just really want to go to sleep, and then your phone rang, and somebody said, "Oh, just to let you know, you've just won £7 million on the national lottery," you would not say, "I'll come and get it when I've had a nap because I really just feel a bit tired."
No.
So obviously, I'm laying it on a bit thick here, but just to get to the bottom of the issue, which is that it's not actually the tiredness, and it's not actually the pain. It's that it feels like it's happening to me.
It's a sufferer.
Yes, the sufferer, the one that's affected by it, is the issue. The attention has gone back to this thought, to one thought, which is that it's affecting me. And of course, it is really easy to buy that thought when it comes to physical pain, because it really seems that way. Really, what is that pain affecting? It's your body. Right? I'm no way negating the pain at all.
Because as I'm sat there then, in the early stages of it, I can feel my body.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it goes.
And was the pain there?
No, because I can't feel my body.
So when the sense of the body is gone in the timeless awareness, so has anything that depends on having a body, like pain.
Yeah.
And the two things are intimately connected. If I believe that this form, this body is really, really real, rather than an appearance in the awareness, then I'm going to have to automatically buy everything that comes with that. You know, if I have a body, then I'm going to have pain and tiredness, and I'm not for a second saying that you can live the rest of your life without any physical pain. I'm just saying that you won't be suffering from it. Right? Because it's not the pain itself. Otherwise, an anesthetic would never work. What does an anesthetic do, or a painkiller? It shortcuts up here the thought, I am suffering right now. I'm suffering from this. If you can't believe that thought
I
anymore,
don't feel like that.
Yeah.
That I am suffering it. And so
Yeah.
when I sat the other day, it went.
Yeah.
It really did. It just
because
all
you
went.
weren't energizing that thought that I need to
Yeah.
get rid of this, or I need to move beyond this, or I need pain to go.
Mhm.
All those thoughts were gone in your open curiosity. So what do you seem to need then in the light of digging deeper into this? It's not that we need the pain to go. Of course, we will take care of the body, of course, you know, and if that involves taking painkillers or whatever we do, it's fine. I'm not negating that, but spiritually as well, what do you seem to need? Well, you said to lose the sufferer.
To lose the sufferer. That's the only thing I've got where that catches my attention.
Mm-hmm.
I can be in some great, feel
So can you lose?
really joyful and happy, and
Yeah, and then this
and
happens.
this ruins
Yeah,
it.
because it seems to bring you back
into
into another
It
state
does.
at a lower level
Yeah.
of consciousness. So do you really need to lose it if it's only a seems to be?
No.
So that you said that very, very quickly, but the fact that the experience, then it's not the wrong answer, it's the right answer, but the fact that the experience keeps happening means that there's something still underneath, as we were saying before, that is believing that.
I know that.
It needs to go deeper.
Yeah.
So in that moment when the pain arises, then you can use it for your practice. Is it really true that I need anything right now? And that will catch everything. Because we seem to need certain things at certain times. Of course, you'll do whatever you need to do for the body. And if you're tired,
it's gone.
Yeah.
At the moment.
It's gone right now.
It's not here.
Because you cannot
I've got
keep...
energy. I don't feel tired. No.
Most... How strange. Most times the pain will go on looking at this. Sometimes it doesn't, but the crux of the matter is you shouldn't be suffering from it. Pain and suffering are two different things. So as we've experienced, when I'm not aware of my body, nothing troubles me. When I focus on my body, I've picked up two, then there's me and my body. And that's what causes the suffering. We've gone back into division. We've divided artificially the one being, you know, into forms and formless. So if you can see that, then you can stay in that. Immediately when there's any suffering, there's a question needs to be asked. That fixes every spiritual problem. It's not a doing, it's a seeing, isn't it? It's a seeing. It's a seeing. And then the resulting being will happen in the mind and body. So pain can be there. Even quite intense pain can just be there. And there can be no suffering from it. You know, and just to remind you, do I really need anything right now? Even though it seems to be, even though it seems and it feels like it's happening right now, and it's true right now, it feels that I need something. You know, we all have these areas where this tendency to believe we need something persists, and they're different for each one of us. And that's our karmic patterns, whatever that seems. So if we can, you know, don't blame ourselves for that and just recognize this is just where it's still playing out for me. That's all. That's all. It doesn't mean you do anything wrong. It's just how it is. Yeah. So
that's great.
So stick with the question. You can remind each other of the question.
On the way home.
What question?
What question?
Right, thank you.
Good. Very good.
Thank you.
Okay. That woke everyone up. Thank you. Namaste.
I'll have to edit that out.